Hello everyone, this is Susan from the ICE Resin Creative Team 2015 and also susansartcircus.com, and I'm in my crazy messy studio today, and I hate to admit that I'm thinking about Christmas presents. Are you? It's October and I think Christmas is right around the corner, so today let's talk about easy to make ice resin Christmas presents for everybody. Here we go. I'm going to start with one of our bezels, and I don't have any template or anything for it, so I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Get it out of here, peel off some of the muck. Okay. Now you can do this with the piece of paper that comes right out of the package if you want. I just happen to have some scrap cardstock, and I'm going to use a little water-soluble ink from Ranger that I can rinse off. And all I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take the bezel, I'm going to rub it on top of the ink pad just to get the edges wet with ink. I'm going to bring it over here to my piece of paper, and I'm just going to print it. And it slid just a smidge, so there you go. I've got a little outline of the bezel shape, and this is going to help you get a better idea. You can see I've got a bunch cut out on my desk. I wipe that off just a little bit. I have just any old hole punch, it doesn't matter what size, as long as you can make a couple of cuts in there. And I'm just going to cut this center piece on the edge. I'm going to cut right on the line all the way around. My studio mate is whining at me. And clip, clip, clip until you get it all the way around, and then you have a little window just like that. I'm going to use my little window, and I have pictures of my daughter when she was younger, or both of them goofing around. That doesn't really fit that one. Here's a self-portrait she took of herself when she was, I don't know, 8. But go through all your family portraits, scan, or if you have them digitally, print them up on just regular copy paper. Then you can use your little window to give yourself an idea of what it's going to look like in the bezel, and you just run it around. See? And that's adorable. I think I'll use that one. So now I'm just going to take my window, move some things out of the way, get it over here where it looks cute, and then just take a pencil, hold your paper and template down, trace around it, and then you're just going to cut that out, and voila, you'll have something that fits perfectly into that bezel. Okay, well, I use any kind of white glue sealer. This happens to be Mod Podge. So we're just going to take a little bit and put it in the bottom of the bezel. You don't have to be horribly careful about it. You just want kind of an even coat all the way around. And you can see I'm just kind of dabbing, just making sure I get it in the edges. What we're doing is we're going to seal the back of the paper to the bezel so that the resin won't seep in. And I've got that all cut. I'm just going to push it in with my fingers like so. You can see it's kind of oozing out a little bit, but doesn't matter. Just push it down flat all the way around. It might get messy. Uh-oh. See it oozing up. I'm gonna wipe my hand off. And sometimes this is the end of the paintbrush is a great little helper to push it down in the corners in the back, and it's nice and flat. So now we're gonna let that coat dry before we move on. So I'm putting out a little bit more glue, and I'm coating the bezel again. Now I do this 2 to 3 times. I want to ensure all the edges, and those are most important, are all sealed with the glue. So I'm going to keep going around all of them, making sure I push that glue right up into all the edge pieces. And to ensure that my resin doesn't bleed or leave wet spots once it's poured, I do this 2 to 3 times. I think it's safer to do more and use the time to make sure it's sealed properly. That way your projects always come out perfect. So make sure everything's dried completely before moving on to mixing your ice resin. Now you can see I've mixed my ice resin according to the instructions, and the bezel is sealed, and you can see the little glue lumpies, but it's all flat to the back of the bezel. Now I use those little round things, those are little levels, and I'm just leveling the tray to make sure my resin will dry, as level in the bezel. You don't want little ski slopes. I use paper to keep the tray level. And now I'm going to move into pouring, and I love the stick that you mix with. It works great for getting the resin exactly where you want it. You can see I have a whole tray of things. I do this in bulk all the way around. So I'm just gonna stir it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to pour it and let it just drip off the stick. What could be easier, right? And you just keep dipping back and forth. Cover the entire bottom, and it's self-leveling, so it's going to move into all those little nooks and crannies as you get more resin into the bezel. So we're just going to keep doing that until it's filled now, and keep dripping. Now you can pour out of the cup if you feel like you want to. You can squeeze it, and they're very flexible, and it'll make a little pour spout, and you can pour it out also. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to blow some bubbles out with a little straw. Just with your breath, just blow across the tops. You'll see all the bubbles magically pop, and they'll all be gone. Poof.